And we've got 16 poets performing for you tonight. 16? Huzzah! Okay, and with any X Factor-y kind of a thing, you can't do an X Factor type of thing without some judges. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's introduce our judges. First of all, we might have seen her earlier on today, reading from the Wenlock Poetry Festival anthology. Ladies and gents, Miriam Margules. We also saw the Enigma earlier, just a few moments ago. The Enigma. Did I say Enigma, not Enema? Enigma. That is the masked poet. We also saw earlier... These Scousers, I tell you what, man, it's like... Yeah. Anyway, we saw earlier Charlie Jordan, former Birmingham Poet Laureate. And we also saw Dreadlock Alien, former Birmingham Poet Laureate. So these guys are our judges. Poetry slam, right, it's not just about the words, it's about how you put them across. It's a performance poetry kind of a thing, okay? And the other thing, it's quite subjective, it's a bit of a laugh, and we get all sorts of ruckuses going, that poet shouldn't have won, that one shouldn't have won, and stuff. That's the way it goes. Ladies and gents, Laura Meehan.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's face it, the world has gone to shit, but there is one man, one genius-like legend who could still possibly fix it. A man of worth, solid and true, with impeccable taste and enough wit to stop bombs. So I say, unto you, Stephen Fry for president. He would sort everything out. Let's desist in this senseless killing spree and have a nice cup of Twining's tea and stop finding things to fight about. He would charm the most narrow-minded wasps into discussing French poetry with the cave-dwelling infidels. Within a month, the White House would be the centre of culture, with Oscar Wilde quotes bouncing off the citadels as high society America flocked to pay homage to his stylish smoking jackets and good-natured sense. His cool, sex symbol friend Hugh Laurie would be his second in command, and they'd reenact their sketches for the influential posh gala events, but it wouldn't be forced like Bono kissing ass with Tony Blair. Stephen Fry for president. He would treat everyone with dignity. He would be firm, but fair. He knows everything, literally. Everything, and even if he made it up, I'm sure he'd be right. Actor, writer, orator, comedian, ambassador. Yeah, Obama can muster a global fight, but would you invite him round your grands for cake? He's the working class's gentleman, the middle class's point of reference. The toffs think he's one of them, though they are but shadows in his wake. Stephen Fry for president, the perfect mix of intelligence and charm, a great brain with a sense of humour, a gentle giant of literature using words to hold back harm. And yeah, he's only human too, but we'd love him whatever mood he was in, because laughter and good-natured sense makes more sense than starting a fight and then mustered in all guns blazing to fix the problem you created. He'd have foreseen every outcome with the use of ancient texts and mathematical equations before the rest of the morons had even anticipated. Stephen Fry for president. He's the only one who can save us now. And he'd do it so subtly, we wouldn't feel the need to question why. So dust off the china. Let's wage war from Waterstones and trust in his wisdom, because the Fry don't lie. Thank you.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Laura Meehan. Our next poet is Jane Dodds. Let's give Jane a round of applause as she makes her way to the front. Jane Dodds is new to poetry slams. She's ventured out of the wilds of mid-Wales, where she has previously entertained the locals and some puzzled sheep. Ladies and gents, puncturing that poetic hymen, it's Jane Dodds.
You know, you get those big questions in life that leave you perplexed and prey on your mind. And this is a poem about one of those, and it goes like this. Why do the women in movies all sleep with their makeup on? Surely the people they're playing must have been told that it's wrong. I can understand in a thriller how the heroine might be excused from washing her face in the river when she's fleeing some fierce bloody feud. But even the female detective that sleeps in her flat on her own is perfectly painted when woken at midnight to answer the phone. I can happily watch all the werewolves and aliens baring their teeth, but some things just stretch to the limit my suspension of disbelief. I expect they're too young to remember Dusty Springfield, who sang on the screen, how she once had to have her mascara removed by a surgical team. It certainly made an impression on me. I remember the rule. You don't go to bed in your makeup unless you're a lazy fool. It's a faff to keep cleaning it off though. So often I wear none at all. Yes, I've slept countless nights without makeup, but I still wake up looking like hell.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jane Dodds. Nice one. Well done, Jane. Round of applause for Laura. Laura's ambition in life has been to perform a poem at a poetry slam. So it looks like after tonight, it's all downhill. Ladies and gents, Laura Yates.
So thank you. Yeah, this is about my nan, who, unlike many of your nans, probably is pretty evil, and this is how I don't want to make my children feel the way she has made me feel. So, I promise, I will never use money as a stick to beat you with and chase you with. Never use it to guilt you with and make you feel greedy, money-grabbing, snatching, ungrateful, illicit or inferior with it. Never make you ingratiate yourself to me for it. I will never use money like a carrot, dangle it in front of you, make you dance for it, squirm for it, make you jump through hoops held high, just out of reach for it, put you beneath it. I won't impeach you to demean yourself for it. Won't ask you to defy yourself by joining me in whinging and two-faced moaning. I won't engage the sick occupation of manipulation. I won't poke at you to draw from you poison like a lanced boil. I'll never gain gratification from you slagging off other people, gleaning perverse pleasure by making you speak ill. Talk of what's in my will. I don't want to endorse hate to create bonds between us because it's no good for you to wrap you in my web with me if a web is where I choose to be. I will never try to control you, to beckon, call you, command you, or underhandedly guide you along a path you'd never choose to take, and only follow by mistake. I promise that as my defuncting brain spirals to its end, that the repeatingness that I repeat again and again and again, sweet things will be nice things, sweet things, not reminders of failures, misdemeanours or mistakes. I won't question your choices, decisions and beliefs. As the clouds move gently across the setting of my sun, as my once alert stars fade, as I'm deserted by memory and sanity, as the chattering starlings of common sense fly south, when everything worth remembering is lost, when every promise I ever made is forgot, when my memory is controlled or deleted, I will never become hateful or impatient. I want to take my fears with me, wrestle them Sigourney Weaver style back as I fall into the final fire. If all I can control is my feeling of helplessness, lest it manifest itself into a form that will make you feel anything less than the best. I love you and will always so, no matter where you choose to go. As long as you're happy, take your freedom, don't look back, and I hope and pray I'll never make you feel any other way than happy, able, glad to have me in your corner and by your side, albeit as a second thought or somewhere in a corridor at the end of your mind. Thank you.
Laura Yates, everyone. Nice one, Laura. Thank you. Heather Weisstein. Round of applause for Heather. As she makes her way down. Heather Weisstein lives in rural Worcestershire, where she runs a refuge for misused apostrophes. She also has a collection of rare semicolons which may be viewed by appointment. You got to read it, really. Ladies and gents, Heather Weisstein.
I would like to speak on behalf of the apostrophe. Apostrophes, poor creatures, have no outstanding features to look at, just a tail, a head, and nothing in between. They fail to set the word alight, and we abuse them. That's not right. Apostrophes fit in. Some would say they interfere. No matter. It's a sin to put one there when it should be here. Apostrophes are lonely and simple, and they only want one thing, to be understood, for then they'll be a force for good, not put in such embarrassing positions like cheap bling. In a previous life, I was an apostrophe. Dad always told me not to hang out with other apostrophes. Dad always said it would make people talk. So I lived alone, while others hovered in pairs, getting friendly with any old letter. I knew much better than that. They called themselves the inverted commas, and some of them hung upside down to show off. They sniggered and talked about 66.99, waggling their tails. Dad used to scoff and say, decent apostrophes do not cohabit. A pure apostrophe works alone, filling in for absent letters or helping good nouns to keep what they own. When I turned 9, a cross young T punched a hole in my head when it got too possessive. It's not fair, it said, standing its ground, as I squeezed myself out and tumbled down to the foot of an S. Well, yes, you guessed. I was quickly mistaken for one of those commas. Kicked into touch by a passing verb. Blinded, confused in an alien land, a world I couldn't understand. I had only been taught how to be an apostrophe. Lowercase living just wasn't for me. I wriggled along through a forest of feet till I came to a clearing where who should I meet but a capital T who had been waiting for me. So, you are the worm who riled my child. Now, how does it feel to be down at heel? And with that, he stood really hard on my tail. I pulled and I pulled till my tail broke off. Now I'm reincarnated as a full stop.
Unfortunately, my voice has been Wenlocked, so I don't know how I'll go with this. It'll be scratchy. That's part of my 3 minutes, I know. This is a poem about before the dogs came into the world, little rat bags. Wolf, wistful. There were no dogs back then, singing to his master's voice, wearing collars, wearing tutus, catching frisbees. No blind leading the blind dogs, no deaf dogs barking to smoke alarms, no sniffer dogs high on cocaine. There were no real bitches, downright bitches, sons of bitches, only wolf mother. No dogs in the manger, no top dogs, sun dogs, slum dog millionaires. Nothing was as, no cats, dogs and cats raining on dog day afternoons, no 2 dog nights. Nothing was as crooked as a dog's hind leg or stood out like dog's balls. No one hunched over like a dog cracking razor blades or failed to drive a green stick up a dog's bum. No one was dogged by poetry, not even doggerel. There were no dogs' breakfasts. No one had to work like a dog. It wasn't a dog-eat-dog world. No old dogs had to learn new tricks. No one was dog-tired. No tails wagged their dogs. Not one dog had his day. There were no pig dogs, rat dogs, cat dogs, shaggy dogs, designer dogs, Daewoo dogs, dog-a-logs, wahoo, the werewolves of London. And there were no dogs of war. And there was no reason to keep the wolf from the door. Thank you.
Really, that's that, Alison.